You like my
He's
dad.
cool, dude.
Yeah, he's cool. He's a cool guy.
That's so I do
It's not
not.
just me. He's a very likable guy.
He's
He's great.
I love him.
Yeah.
Like a father. Hey, welcome to episode 88 of Front Seat Gamer. I'm here with Blake
Hey, Nick.
and Saveun.
Hey, Nick.
How's it going, guys?
It's good to be here.
Yep. This is the first actual Front Seat Gamer episode we've done in like a month at least.
Yep. We took a break for the Delve
We
release.
took a Delvey break, and we also took a lunch eat flavor break. Do you think we'll do another one of those? Did we get any feedback on that?
Yeah, we got some feedback. We'll definitely do another one.
Okay, cool. I like eating, so
Yeah. But it won't replace one of the video game ones. It'll be in an off week.
okay.
Yeah.
Until this D&D shit starts happening.
Oh yeah, and then there's the D&D stuff that we need to sort out.
Oh, yep.
We got a lot
The
going.
whole Front Seat franchise.
Yep.
Well,
Franchise seat
No.
flavor.
nailed it, Blake. That's the one. We got a lot of stuff to cover this week. First of all, Delve came out.
Yep.
Like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I forget now. It's been a while. Then we've also there's been some game announcements. There's been some new trailers. Also, we've just been playing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, why don't we start with what you guys have been playing? Who wants to go first?
I'll say I played that Battlefield 5 beta,
Yeah.
which was pretty cool. But shit, I don't even want to talk about it. Let's go on to RTX stuff. You had
man.
you had some RTX shit that you wanted to talk about.
And there
Remember?
was just I saw that like demo.
Yeah.
Where the guy.
Because that was huge, man. Like real time ray tracing. The
Yeah,
promise.
there's aspects of it looked really cool.
Mm.
And it's like exciting to see that's the direction that graphics are going. For people who don't know, RTX is ray tracing, right?
Mhm. It's Nvidia's solution to ray tracing.
And ray tracing is basically simulating the actual path of photons in
Light.
real life,
Mm-hmm.
in a virtual space. So you get real, or at least realistic, reflections on surfaces, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So Nvidia put out a video of Battlefield 5 using
Tomb Raider, Metro. Yeah, there were a few games.
using like ray tracing to show cool reflection and stuff. And I think it became like a meme.
Yeah, the first time I saw this was a Tomb Raider meme.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, with the girl with their ash on her face.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that
I
was
didn't
great.
understand it.
Yeah,
It's the quality.
Does
man.
it-
That's
what-
what it is.
But it said when you turn it on, she looks like weird. That's-
Real.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
So yeah, this is Saveun. We've been talking about this a little bit here and there. I can't tell if you're trolling or if you're actually like.
it's a step in the right direction.
Yes.
The thing is, if you
I agree.
talk to some people, like Dr. Alex, he
Um,
has opinions on it because he just doesn't like the way Nvidia is trying to kind of set a standard and is monopolizing on that.
Sure.
Um,
He
So
reckons
he
that there are
doesn't like
better ways to do it,
yeah.
and that Nvidia's way is
But-
not the best way.
Nvidia has tried this before. Remember the hair stuff that was like Nvidia only?
Yep.
Yeah. So like they're known
haven't
for
tri-
like putting out tech stuff and being like trying to be like, hey, this is
Sure.
everyone's gonna do this.
It is in a sense their way of trying to create like a console-ish market, right? Like they have
for a graphics card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like it's our cards are capable of this feature.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, they had the 3D glasses thing as well for a while.
Oh yeah.
So it's not the first time they've done this.
Dude, they've got a
won't
whole
be the
bunch of cool
last.
tech.
I thought that the RTX stuff was cool. I don't think it's good enough yet.
Huh.
Really? I thought it was damn good enough. Like from what I saw, I was like,
Now,
yeah.
I don't know what kind of performance hit your computer
Oh,
takes
sure.
when you switch that on. But even besides that, I thought some of the first of all there was like weird graphical glitches in the demos, which is
Right.
not great because in a demo you're meant to like really show pristine looking stuff, right? And
What graphical glitches are you talking about?
I know the one you're talking
And
about.
what demo? Because the one I saw basically, the one I saw was the one that you linked me. Like I didn't see
Battlefield one.
Yeah, and
with the fire.
it just showed like fire and like explosions
Yeah.
off screen that then you see the reflections on screen.
Yeah, so there's one part where they are passing towards a car and they're showing
Mhm.
off like the reflections of planes and fire and the car's metal and glass.
Yep.
And like there were edges around the car where just weird stuff was happening.
Okay.
Like flickering and blur and like all this weird stuff.
Yep.
And I couldn't determine personally if it was like one of the like paper. There's like weird paper things floating through the air. And I couldn't tell if it was just like a paper thing trapped in a weird location or if it was actual glitching.
Yeah, I don't think it was paper. I think that was an artifact.
Yeah.
But I still think it's good enough, to have in a game.
But I'm skeptical because that's a demo.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a game. It is a piece of terrain designed to show off the capabilities of this piece of tech, and there were problems. What happens in a real game where things are moving dynamically and you can get into all sorts of weird, crazy angles, you know? So I'll have to wait and see. The other part was when they switch it on and they're showing off puddles.
Yep.
And, man, I hated the way the puddles looked with the ray tracing on.
They were muddy, right?
No, they weren't.
Blurry?
Oh, yes, they were blurry. Yeah. They were so blurry.
It's pretty funny. God damn it, Nick. Yeah, dude, but it's real time. Like, that's the whole thing. You understand? Like, you couldn't pull that off. Well, you can, but
I could make a blurry puddle
but it's
in
based
real
on the
time,
thing
probably.
that's over there. Do you know what I mean? Like, the reflection's correct, so it's actually a blurry version of whatever's.
But I don't think it
accurately
is
behind it.
correct because when I look
Because
at
it's
a
so
puddle
blurry?
in real life, it's not that blurry. There's blur around the edges where like the surface of the surface tension of the water is a little bit weird because of like terrain or whatever. But for the entire puddle to be basically indistinguishable from like a smudge on your screen is not like great for.
The difference is when you look at a car panel and
Yeah.
someone walks past the car panel, you see their silhouette, their shape reflected in that car panel. You don't have that currently in any.
I know
console game.
I'm not
That's
disputing
the
that.
thing.
There's
What I'm
cool
trying to say
stuff.
with that puddle
Yeah.
is like, the resolution's low, sure, but it's correct. You know what I mean?
But I couldn't tell it's correct because all I could see was like a smudge. You know what I mean?
What
like
they did was they
it
were
made
toggling.
the rest of the scene look worse.
Well, they were toggling back and forth from the current implementation, which is
Yep.
just some standard bullshit. It's using a cube map basically,
Yep.
which is why it's so crisp.
Sure.
And it's going back and forth from real time to the cube map. And
Yep.
the cube maps, it looks nice and it's meant to look nice, and but it's static. It doesn't change.
Sure.
Yeah.
But that doesn't. It still makes like puddles look bad. I don't want to play a game where puddles look that bad.
Because it's blurry.
Yeah, it's distractingly blurry.
You'd run through it and still have it hopefully behave like a puddle.
Maybe, but it didn't. It looked like it was a floating layer above the gravel.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Um.
I'm gonna have to view this again because I don't even remember looking at the puddle.
Yeah.
But I'm a huge fan of like what Nvidia is doing because I think this is like their denoising stuff. So like it's not ray tracing in that way. Like it's not shooting millions of rays, billions of rays into a scene and then rendering that. It's shooting very few rays and then trying to assemble that scene together.
Mm-hmm.
That isn't so different from like what it normally would render.
Sure. I think it. I'm very excited for the future of this tech.
Mhm.
But I think we're like a few years away from it being, in my opinion, good enough to warrant inclusion in games.
What's their first cards they're going to support it?
The 2080s, the new
Okay.
I think
series
they're coming
of
out
cards.
this year.
Yep.
Right? In a month or two or something, or in even a few weeks.
Yeah, a lot of people were upset with I think current cards like a 1080 Ti
Mm-hmm.
will do Battlefield 4K 60 frames a second, but with RTX it will be 30 frames at 1080, so much less and lower frame rate. So there is definitely a performance hit.
Yeah, that's a big performance hit too. Yeah, but I mean, kind of to be expected. There's tons of calculations that they're doing.
There's like Yeah, reflections are one thing, and that's probably like one of the harder things to pull off. But if you look at shadows, shadows look real good, and so they have that sharp contact. They have the fade that shadows have. That's really
The
hard to pull off.
there's a word for it.
Penumbra?
Penumbra. This one.
Yep.
Mm. So that's
Don't
one
the
thing.
hardcore players like the pro players play on like really low graphic settings?
Are you
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about Path of Exile now?
Well, almost any
Almost
game,
any
right?
game, yeah.
Yeah.
They tend to favor like extremely high frame rates
Mm.
and responsiveness.
So they just
Because-
turn down everything. Like, wasn't there like Quake people that are like no textures and stuff like that?
Yeah.
It's all
Yeah.
flat shaded.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it makes me sad.
Yeah.
Because like you were, I'm not a graphics fiend, but there is a level of enjoyment
There was
that you
I used-
lose.
I used to watch a lot of pro StarCraft, and the way they did it, like they would have a observer in the match, and that computer it's set to as high graphics as possible,
Yeah.
and so it looks nice.
Yeah.
And then every once in a while it would switch to like what the players were actually using. It's like, oh Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
Why did it switch to this RuneScape competition
Yeah.
footage? That's weird. So, have you guys been playing anything else? Blake, you been playing stuff?
Man, I've been playing so much of that Kingdom Come game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really into it.
What?
I'm really digging that game now.
Huh.
Why?
What
Yeah.
changed?
Well, nothing changed. It was just a sort of slow build up. And I think what really changed was that the world actually finally opened up, because it's presented as this big open world, but for the first, it seems like over 10 hours, 15 hours, the quests are really restricted.
Is this a case of the game's really good after the first 15 hours?
No, the game, dude, kind of like the game is great from the start.
Yeah.
But the whole time I was going through these quests, I'm just like, let me out into the world. Let me out. I want out.
Yep.
Come on, let me out in here. But no, you got quests that are like, you got to go rush over and talk to this guy, and there's all urgent stuff like that keeps it. You can still go out somewhere, but it just doesn't feel natural. Like there's no natural part where the game opens up until I finally got to this natural part where suddenly the game opens up, and I'm like, oh, cool, I'm kind of free to go and do my own thing now.
Did they give you a horse?
Yes.
Is that what opened it up?
That was very close to when it opened up. It was like, here's a horse, and I'm like, yes, because it would take so fucking long to run around.
Do you have to feed it?
No, you don't. I'm kind of bummed that because it's supposed to be such a simulation.
Yeah.
You have to wash your clothes. You have to
Wait, you have to wash your clothes?
Yeah.
You have to do laundry?
Well, you don't do laundry. It's a loading screen does laundry for you.
Okay.
But the cleanness of your clothes affects your charisma.
That's funny.
You know, and your clothes visibly get dirty. Like if you've just been in a fight, like, man, you're covered in mud and stuff like that. And there was one point where I was like, my horse was like galloping along a road.
Do you have to wash your horse?
No, you don't. This is the thing. Yeah, there's one point where I'm galloping along a road, and some bandits had put up like a wagon, and my horse hit it, and I went flying off of it. And I just had nice clean clothes, and then the next time I got to actually look at my character after fighting this thing and rolling around in the mud. Man, my dude was covered in mud, and it was awful. But that's the thing. You have to maintain your sort of appearance and maintain your gear. There's grindstones to fix your weapons when they start getting the durability goes down, or you can just get a blacksmith to pay for it. You can just pay for it. But then your horse is just like a Skyrim horse. It does you. It's just a
vehicle.
It's just a
functionally?
vehicle that will stand
Right.
on a spot when you leave it. Like the Witcher's horse, when you dismount him, he'll go off and wander and find water or food, horse food, and
Pretty cool.
horse food, like hay, or carrots. He'll find something.
They'll go to
and
the horse bar and
Yeah,
get
go to a
himself
horse
horse
bar.
whiskey.
Yeah, and the bartender says why such a long face? And the So in The Witcher, you'll be in a town for a while, and you go back to where your horse is, and you're like, oh, where's my horse? And you'll look, and he's like in a field, like at a feeding trough, and you're like, yeah, that's like a real horse.
Yeah.
But this is just like, where's my horse? Oh, it's exactly where I left it, just staring straight ahead, like this weird vehicle. And it has the whistle, and the horse will just appear.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to, it's definitely supposed to appear off camera and sort of walk into frame.
Right.
But there are definitely times when it just magically appears,
Pops in.
materializes in front of you. Yeah. So that's kind of a bummer, and especially since the when you get the horse, the guy says to you, "Look after your horse. You know, you got to look after your horse." Blah blah blah.
Yep.
No, you don't. There's no horse management at all. I don't even think you can kill the horse.
So you unlocked the open world.
Yeah, I
part.
unlocked the open world, and then it was just like it was kind of cool. Like it was a natural opening point.
Yeah.
In the story, the quests were very sort of linear up until this point, and then it sort of opens up, and it's like this a more you know how Skyrim had early on, and its main mission was like go to the top of the mountain,
Yeah.
and that was really great because then it allowed you to
See the world.
see the world.
Yeah.
It's kind of like reached a point like that.
Mm.
And now I'm just like going from town to town and having cool adventures. Got super drunk with a priest.
Okay.
That was fun. But
Yeah, but what did you do in the game?
oh yeah. Anyway, yeah. Then I came home and played this game. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm just enjoying this whole like living in this world and sort of adventuring around.
You're
and,
loving being a pauper.
yeah, it's
I love having
fun.
to do my laundry. It's so much fun.
It's really fun, man. I wish I could describe it better. Like
Me too. I'm kidding.
What are some of the things you do
Yeah.
other than drinking? Like, what kind of missions do you do? What are these?
Like, do you have
man?
a goal at this point?
well, yeah, there's like the main mission is to get a sword back that was stolen from you early on.
Okay.
And it's kind of funny because like it's the sword that like your dad made, and he was like this master blacksmith guy, and it was for the Lord. And this dude, the guy you're playing as, he's so like loyal to his Lord that he's like, I'll get that sword back for you. I'll get it. And the Lord had says to you in a cutscene, I don't really care about this sword, man. And the dude and your guy's like, no, my father made that sword for you. I'm gonna go get it. And it's like way over the top, like caring
Yeah,
about
dude,
this.
no, you don't need to do that. I don't
Yeah, he
want it.
literally says you don't need to do that.
Dude, I sold that sword.
Yeah. But like, yeah, he's really like trying to get the sword back, and so that's sort of the main mission is, and it's very open ended. It's just like the mission is just basically find the sword, and you're having like smaller steps of this quest along the way to find clues of who, like this bandit that's got it, like trying to figure out where they are,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Like the first point where it starts to open out is like you're investigating an attack on a stables with a guy who matched the description of the guy that took your sword.
This is reminding me. Have you ever seen like him named Hopkin Green Frog?
No, what?
No.
Never heard.
No.
Who took my frog? No. Okay.
No, who took my frog?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Never mind.
And you're just sort of like you're just following clues. It's a bit of a detective thing. Maybe that's why I'm like really liking it, because you go into this town where you've got a lead.
Yeah.
And you find that this dude's been murdered like in a really gruesome way. Like he's been gutted in his home and stuff like that. So that's like a surprise to me. I was like, holy shit, I didn't expect this to happen. And then you're trying to figure out info from this guy and this from the priest who
You got drunk with?
who you get drunk with, and you go through this whole like, because the guy had been in confession with the priest, so you're trying to get the priest to tell you what his confession was.
Yeah.
And the priest is like, no, I can't tell you because, you know,
Because I'm a priest.
'Cause I'm a
and it was
priest.
confession.
and then he's like, so you end up like drinking with him and like, and and then there's a point where he's like, the next day he's too hungover to do his sermon, so he gets you to do it. And he's like, if you do it, I'll tell you, this thing. And he just like, and so your player character is like straight up just questioning is like, oh, suddenly it's not a sin to like tell it, and he's just a sort of drunken priest, like and but then the thing is, I ended up failing that because I was just too useless at doing this.
You were hungover too.
I was hungover too. And then so the main quest changed to like getting info from somewhere else. But it's
Right.
like I had this whole, and while I'm in that town, I'm doing also side missions for the townsfolk and stuff. So it's like I had this whole adventure in this one little town.
Yeah.
And then I just like move on from there, and I'm really enjoying the whole like having little adventures in these places, and
Yeah.
then kind of like moving on to the next area, and and it's always like a discovery of like what's
What's going on in this
yeah,
town,
what's going on in this
basically.
town. Like the next one of the next towns I found was I ended up getting led there, not even through the main story, just through side missions. I ended up
Yeah.
in this town where there was this big monastery, which is kind of cool because it's a monastery that still
Full of
exists in
drunk
real
monks.
life. Yeah, it's full of drunk people. But it's this monastery that's currently being built, and it exists in real life, and you can look it up, and you're like,
That's
oh, it's
cool.
exactly the same. And it's like I stood in game looking up at it, and had a picture of it
So
in
why-
real life on the side.
Why
I
don't you
was
just
like,
check
wow,
on Wikipedia where your sword is?
Oh shit, maybe I could. Yeah.
Oh, here it is.
But then the thing is, I roll into this town and I meet someone that I'd known from like the very beginning town, and
Yeah.
there's this whole like this massive quest line there, and when I finally left that, I felt like, man, that was like a chapter of my life kind of thing.
Wow.
It's this
That's cool.
yeah.
So it really built out some cool adventures for you.
Yeah, yeah, it's
participate
built
in.
out a lot of awesome like contained adventures. Also, while on the main quest to like
Find your sword.
find this damn sword.
Which, by the way, you're gonna find that sword and bring it. Here's the sword,
Yeah.
my lord. Yeah, I didn't want this.
yeah,
I
he's
tried
like,
to
I
tell
literally
I don't
told
want
you
it.
I don't care about this sword.
Will you give me a fiefdom, sir? No.
That's
Go away.
but it's
Credits
it's like,
roll.
Yeah, but that's part of like the kind of fun of it is like this guy is just like so over the top like chivalrous about
Wow.
this damn sword and honorable about this damn sword, where the guy that like owns the sword doesn't give a shit
Doesn't
about
want it. Wow. Well, okay. So I've been playing 80 days.
Yep.
You told me to get this game. I got it. $6.
Yep.
Something.
Worth it?
It's pretty fun.
Oh, I didn't say
there's-
yes.
There's some cool moments. I did 2 full playthroughs. Here's the thing. It's pretty easy, which is fine. I don't mind it being pretty easy. And there's some really cool moments, but there's also some like seriously frustrating elements. So basically, it's based on the like Phineas Fogg Around the World in 80 days story thing, and it is basically like a text adventure with some graphical UI and some interesting gameplay elements. But the main gameplay element is like buying things in one city to sell in another. Would you say
Right,
that's
yeah.
other than like choosing what to say
Sure.
or like what happens next in the adventure?
That's okay. So maybe that's like where I was failing, because I really didn't try to buy stuff. I just tried to get across with the money that I had.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like the main gameplay element is like buying and selling. No?
No, I didn't.
Didn't know that?
No,
Okay, we'll take have another play of it.
because it would say things like, "Oh yeah, you can sell this sort of thing from this,
Yeah.
in this town." I can't remember that.
fur coats are worth so much in Moscow. And you're like, okay, cool. I'll buy some fur coats and go to Moscow.
Yeah, but you can't always just buy stuff from the same city, right?
no, you
the
just
city
buy,
that
you
you're
just
in.
buy whatever's in the city that you're in, and you hold on to it until you can sell it in a city for a good price.
Yeah, but you might not get into a city that it has a good price. That's the thing. I didn't, like you say, okay, fur coats are good in Moscow.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll buy up a whole bunch of fur coats, and then I don't end up in Moscow.
Well, then why did you? You plan your own route.
Maybe that's the thing. I was not planning. I was just like, what's the next, what's the next
Destination.
destination? What's the
Okay.
fastest way to get forward? To just
Right.
move forward.
Well, usually the fast way to move forward is to pay for things. As
Yeah.
I discovered, is you
That's
earn a
why-
bunch of money by selling stuff, and
Yeah.
then you buy your way.
That's
across
why
the
I would
world.
get into a situation where it's like I'm getting close to the end, and I'd be
out of
broke.
money,
Yeah,
and you wait in a city for 3 days to withdraw money from the bank.
yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, the game pretty fun. But one of the main gameplay elements, like I said, is buying and selling things. Despite what Blake.
That opens. I might play this again. Like,
Yeah.
it seems I was playing this completely wrong.
Problem is, you have to like the things you buy, you put in suitcases, and the suitcases you take on journeys, and some journeys have a limited amount of luggage room. Although you can often buy more luggage, it's not guaranteed, and there's usually a maximum. So you might have suitcases, and the maximum for a journey you want to take is 4. And that means you have to like either sell some stuff or maneuver items around your suitcases to try and get it down to 4 suitcases, whatever it is. But it's so unwieldy to move these things around that it like you can literally spend like 2 in-game hours
Oh man.
trying to move like a fur coat from one suitcase to another. It's so frustrating. It's like, okay, I'm going to try and explain the exact steps you take to move an item from one suitcase to another. You go into your luggage, you click on the suitcase you want, which may involve some swiping, but you got to be careful with the swiping because you may end up clicking on the wrong suitcase. But once you get to the right suitcase, you basically zoom into it. You select the item you want to take out of the suitcase by holding it down. So then once you've held it down long enough, you've grabbed it, but you don't need to keep holding it down, otherwise you just let it go again. So you got to hold it down and then swipe your finger up to remove it from the suitcase, and then hold it up out of the suitcase for it to like allow and hold it to a side to start swiping through the other suitcases until you get to the one you want. But don't hold it down too far because it'll swipe past the suitcase you want to put it in. And then you need to stop it just at the right time, and then hold it over the suitcase you want it to go in, and then it'll zoom into that suitcase, and then you need to move it to the actual spot in the suitcase you want to place it in. And there are so many ways this can go wrong. And this is the main gameplay element.
See, I did not deal with that.
It's so frustrating. It could be so much simpler, and maybe I'm just dumb and I'm doing it the worst way possible, but I don't think that's the case. But that said, there's some really cool story stuff. Like, I took a hovercraft to Hawaii, and on the way, the hovercraft pilot was murdered.
Jeez.
Oh no, the hovercraft artificer was murdered, and I had the task of like figuring out who the murderer was, and so I like interviewed people, and I went to the crime scene, and I did all this stuff, and by the end of it, I didn't know who it was, and he let everyone go. And I was like, that's not a super satisfying ending, but I know that I could have had a more satisfying one if I'd done the right things. And there's like really quite interesting characterization. There's a bunch of stuff that I still don't understand. Like, you take actions, and it'll be like, your character is now sharp.
Oh right, yeah.
And I don't know what that does. It's
I
not displayed anywhere.
I just assumed that was like some sort of a stat that was not shown somewhere.
Yeah, it's not visible anywhere, and I
Yeah.
don't know what impact it has on the gameplay.
Yeah.
Does that open up more options for me to like choose stuff to do later? It's never clear.
Yeah, that's what I wondered. Maybe you get more options.
Yeah.
But unless you're told this is because you're sharp, this option is because you're sharp, you'll never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's the best parts of that game are like the story elements for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The UI is just a bit clumsy. It's visually quite beautiful.
I liked the UI in the actual like storytelling part, where it's just like one little paragraph at a time pops up, so it's not too daunting to read. Because I've definitely played adventure game books that are converted onto mobile.
Yeah.
And it's just basically
Pages
a
and
scan of a
pages and
page.
pages.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, this is
a
gonna
lot of
read
reading.
through this. Yeah. But here it's just like a little bit at a time, little bit at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're given choices with enough frequency that it does feel like you're embodying this character and not just reading. And that's really cool. So like the way they dole out information and the way they also give you the options. It's not just like do this, do that, do the other thing. It's the start of it's like the first sentence of the next block of reading, which is fascinating because it's like it gives you just enough information to sort of have a sense of what's about to happen without giving it too much away. It's just very, very, very clever. The writing in that
would
game
you
is so
want
good.
something like this
I was thinking this too.
in Red Dead 2?
You know what? I would. Is this a thing?
All right, should I escalate this?
Yep,
conversation?
escalate. Escalate. I
God.
choose escalate.
No.
But yeah, okay. That's
wouldn't
fine.
that be
I think that's
cool?
just a taste thing. Sure.
You don't like the idea of giving out like a sentence of the. I'll show you this game after the podcast. It's quite cool.
I've seen it.
You've seen it?
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. I think that it's a really clever way of delivering your options, without force feeding them to you.
Mhm.
But man, that suitcase stuff is dumb. Also, like it's hard to like navigate when you're on the world screen.
Really?
Yeah, because you can zoom in and out, and then if you lose track of your city, a lot of the cities look the same, and you have to like find the one that you're actually in, and you can click on all these city nodes, but can't really do anything. I don't know. There's some oddities with that game, but I think it's definitely worth if you enjoy storytelling, and it's got some really good storytelling. I think it's worth trying. But,
How do you think about replayability? Because you can take different routes.
Yeah. So I played through it twice. I might play through it again.
Mm.
And so that's like a good sign. But like I said, it's pretty easy.
Like there were, like every time I think I played it to completion twice.
Yeah.
I played it 3 times, but the third time I was so
far behind.
I was like, all right, start again. But every time I always went through Europe, went through like most of Asia and that way. But there's like you can go like Africa and stuff as well, but that seems a little counterintuitive in a way, or counterproductive because you're going south instead of where you want to go. But because you can go down, it must like have some options, you know.
I've been through Africa on the way back.
Yeah.
And that was pretty interesting.
Okay.
But yeah, it is it's quite. I think for my next playthrough, I might just ignore the deadline.
Yeah, and just
see how many.
You're just going for a trip.
Yeah, genuinely. Like what happens?
Because the game doesn't end when you go over. You just keep going.
I want to see what happens when like instead of returning on day 77 or whatever, I return on day 472.
Yeah.
And they're like, dude, we thought you were dead. Yeah. We haven't heard from you in more than a year.
Yeah, I like that idea.
So you know.
And I like the setting where it's like, because it's that Victorian story, right?
Yeah, but it's kind of steampunk.
Yeah, it's a bit of a steampunk thing to it.
And they built a lot of intrigue. You go to these cities, and it's like Germany has conquered this city, and it's full of German automatons, and you can talk to people. And it's like, it's really a cool setting. There's a lot to like.
There's
in that
newspapers to read as well, right? Is that I'm sure that was a thing. You could read the local newspaper.
While you're in transit, one of the options is like, read the newspaper. It just shows you the headline, and often it's things like, Phineas Fogg's assistant, the brain behind the journey.
Right.
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Who's reporting that? But
it's probably Phineas Fogg, right? he's because you're playing as his
valet.
Yeah.
Which is code for possibly lover.
No. No.
Yeah. There is a whole sub storyline where you can be his like.
I did not
his gay lover.
pick up on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
it's very it's not super subtle if you go that route. There's also some weird storytelling stuff in there though. If you are on a journey and you get the option to talk, they'll just talk to like a random NPC that's like on the train or whatever, and it'll be like, "Good afternoon, monsieur. Good afternoon."
Yeah.
And then you'll be like, "Is there a way from Istanbul to Tokyo or whatever?" And they'll be like, "I do not know about Istanbul to Tokyo, but you can buy a good fur coat in Moscow."
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I do kind of remember that, and I thought of that as just like a way the game is giving you information.
Yeah, I think what it actually is, it's a test of your geography skills to some degree.
Okay.
And like, if there could be a route between these two places, they'll tell you, and if there couldn't, they'll be like, goodbye.
Oh, weird.
So,
Did you get into any other weird adventures? Like, say that hover ship. That sounds like that was your standout that you didn't solve a murder mystery.
The murder mystery I didn't solve. I did. There was a part where I was on an airship that was attacked by pirates. Don't tell me. Don't ask me how pirates got their own airship.
Sky pirates. You ever heard of sky pirates?
I haven't. But then the airship like blew up at one point, and then you fall into the ocean and you're sinking, and everyone on board, including your boss, is like, "Well, we've had a good run. We're all gonna die." It's like getting real dark.
Whoa!
And then you get rescued, and I was like, "Okay, cool." But there's like I said, there's some really cool moments. It's just like navigating between those cool moments can get real frustrating.
I think I got in one where Phileas Fogg put me in a boxing match
What?
against my will. I got wasted.
Oh man, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've there's some cool stuff in there. I'll play it again. Saveun, you should play it.
No, I'll pass.
Why? What doesn't interest you about this game?
Nothing appeals to me.
Yeah. We did talk about this game with Pete a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and I didn't play it
On
back
the
then either.
podcast?
Yeah. You weren't on the podcast.
Yeah.
Pete was in to replace you.
Mm.
Yeah.
Did you do a good job?
Well, he didn't stay around, so
Ooh, that's a rough way to
Yeah.
go.
he doesn't work at GGG anymore.
No, they
That's-
must have heard him
Yep.
on the podcast.
I wanted to bring up one thing that dropped. Oh, we haven't even talked about Delve.
We haven't talked about Delph.
Do you want to talk about
Yeah,
it?
I do. That's one of the things I want to talk about today.
I wanted to interrupt with some Cyberpunk stuff because
Oh,
Blake
yep.
said you said you got angry.
I got angry at people getting angry.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Because
Go on.
I was a little underwhelmed
Yeah.
visually from what I saw.
Visually.
Yeah.
I thought it looked
Oh,
beautiful.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, let's just leave it
You
there.
are the visual king, though. So
No, it's
I mean, it takes a lot to wow you.
it's not that.
Is it because it didn't have a Rockstar logo?
No, it's not
What were
that.
their puddles like?
Yeah. Nick, can you tell me how their puddles look?
Yeah. What were their puddles, Nick?
Better than the RTX stuff, that's for sure.
Yep. It's a solid cube map there.
Well, it just didn't look like there was a floating blur.
Yeah.
Which, that's an A+ from me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we can talk about that trailer.
Yeah.
I linked it. I'm pretty sure on our Facebook.
Okay. Well, I was underwhelmed because nothing really stood out, and it's not even running on a console, which it's meant to. So they're
really?
going to be dumbing it down
Oh
a whole
no!
lot,
This
and
is,
I think it's going to look like balls.
this is like The Witcher all over again.
Of
Had
course.
to knock it down for the consoles.
This is the case with every game at this point, though. Anything that comes out for PC, they're going to show it on PC.
Mm-hmm.
But like, okay, so visually you weren't impressed, but what about like gameplay wise?
I think I'd have to play it just to
Yeah.
comment on that.
Yeah.
Because well,
very
shit,
fast-paced.
like which is hailed for like good gameplay, and
yeah.
so I'd like to experience that.
Yeah.
And then comment on it.
Wait, you're going to play The Witcher? Confirmed?
No, I'll play the Cyberpunk.
You just said
I'll
you're
play
gonna...
the first person.
No, we
Cyberpunk.
got it. We got it recorded. You said Witcher's known for good gameplay, so
Yeah.
I'm going to have to play it.
Play
You're going to have to play Witcher.
Cyberpunk.
That's right. We got it recorded. Email frontseatquestions@gmail.com
Jesus.
to confirm that you heard Saveun say he's going to play The Witcher. That's a verbal contract. No, we're
But I hear what you're saying because The Witcher's known for its like storytelling and that's tough to get across, I guess, in a trailer.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like you want to be action and stuff. You want to show action and explosions and that, and not necessarily like quiet moments where somebody's talking about something.
Yeah.
politics.
Politics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looked very fast paced, but that might just be because
It looked. I mean, the action did
Yeah.
for sure. Like much faster paced than The Witcher.
mm,
Yeah, and okay. The criticisms I heard was that it just looks like a shooter,
Mm.
and it is a shooter.
yeah.
This is a
Um,
knock against the camera. And
Yes,
there's
this
a lot
this leads into
It's all first issue about person.
this leads into people getting angry about it being in first person.
Yep.
I don't understand why people are angry about a game being in first person.
Yep.
And it's got to only it could be because The Witcher was third person, and so when in their minds, in people's minds, and myself included, when you hear that they're talking about making Cyberpunk, you think of it as being third person. Then it comes out and it's first person, and they tell you why because it's a shooter. I don't like playing shooters in third person, and they're like, yeah, we want to. It's better for first person. This is a first person shooter. People rage about it.
Yep.
Do you reckon they'll like cave and do a
I was
Elder
wondering this
Scrolls,
too.
like
Yeah, I don't
toggle between
know.
the two?
Uh-huh.
I
Like a
don't
good
know.
developer, they would offer both.
Jesus.
Like
The-
like Grand Theft.
What? Oh shit. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
Who
But
plays Grand Theft in first person?
I would sometimes. Some races are locked at first person. That kind of thing.
Races, sure, but like you don't walk around the streets in first person.
But people do.
People are
See,
maniacs.
it's funny that,
Like
right?
you offer it, and you don't need to.
Yeah.
You know.
Maybe that's the thing, like, because maybe people in their heads are like comparing it to GTA, and they're like, that's third person.
Mm.
This should be third person.
Well, no, they're comparing it to their previous game.
Yeah, but also like GTA, right?
Well,
Because it's in a
heaps of-
city. It's a big open world in a
There might be
city.
cars.
You got cars.
There
in
are
there.
cars.
Yeah. It reminded me as well of when Elder Scrolls Online was first shown, and it was third person because it's an MMO, and
Yeah.
MMOs. The idea is that MMOs are third person,
Mhm.
and people raged because they're like, no. Elder Scrolls is first person. How can you not even have a first person option?
Yeah.
And so they went in and added a first person.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure they would have had a first person anyway. Pretty much every MMO lets you zoomed into the.
yeah,
point of
but
first
not
person.
in the same way that Elder Scrolls. Like you see
No,
their
that's
hands
true.
and stuff. Like
That's true.
yeah, and it is true that for Elder Scrolls, I consider that first person game. And
Yeah.
when I was playing the MMO, I was playing it in first person.
Mm.
It just felt weird to not play it in first person
Huh.
to me, even though it was built first in third person.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know if Cyberpunk would add an option. I don't know, but I'm gonna play it in first person because I want to play a shooter in third person. It would
Mm.
be. I don't like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense on PC, just with a mouse and keyboard.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
A first person.
Yeah.
But-
third person games I find are better with controllers. Like I played The Witcher with a controller, played GTA with a controller,
Mhm.
Tomb Raider with a controller.
Yeah.
Gears of War. It's a third person shooter.
Yeah, third person is just better with a controller to me.
Yeah.
It feels weird with a mouse and keyboard.
Why do you think they would go this route?
First person?
Yeah, I'm sure they would have had like crazy discussions.
Yeah, they probably did. Like they've said, like there is a statement that they said
Mm.
like early on about, because it was known that it was going to be first person.
Yeah.
There just hadn't been any like gameplay video of it for people to rage about.
yeah.
But yeah, they were saying that this is just the game that they wanted to make, that it's first person because it's better. It's a better shooter as a first person.
I also
Now, would you play Doom as a third person like that?
Me?
Yeah. Or would
I'd be-
anyone want to play Doom as in third person? Like
It's always been a first person shooter game though.
yeah.
How did you feel about it being first person?
Cyberpunk?
Yeah.
Don't care. I'm really just like looking forward to playing that thing,
Mhm.
and then making forming some opinions while playing it.
Cool. When does it come out?
No release date.
Mm.
You know, on Wikipedia it says it's going to come out on PS4 and Xbox, and I'm kind of doubtful.
You think it's not going to come out on them at all?
I don't think so.
You think what if they come out on the next consoles, but they also have the PS4
It'd be interesting.
version?
Did they do that with Witcher? Because I feel like Witcher 3 just came out on these current gen consoles and PC.
No, I think
Did it come out on PS3?
I
don't
don't
think
think
so.
it came out on PS4.
Just Xbox One.
Yeah.
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 So I think
But it
the
was
same will happen.
It was known before. I don't know when.
Because they kind of got in the middle as well.
Yeah.
Are we? I think we're still a year or two away from like a.
The Cyberpunk?
If there's no,
A new-
I was
a
gonna
new
say a new
console?
console. It's like announcement.
Yeah.
And I've talked to Jonathan about this a little bit. He believes that there are not going to be console generations anymore.
Hmm.
That it is just going to be incremental upgrades from this.
You think
point
it'll be
forward.
the PS4 Pro 2?
Yeah, or like the Xbox One Y. You know that
Yeah.
sort of or
Oh yeah, because it's
Xbox One
Xbox One
X or something. And
When they get to triple X, then things get real crazy.
I don't think that will happen with the next console generation. I'm sure maybe it'll happen in the future. Maybe.
you reckon there's going to be a full generation?
Yeah,
in
it's
in
a
year or two
refresh, man. They
announced?
get to they don't need to support previous hardware. You know that
Mm.
they can cut it off entirely. So I think
But that's what like I've heard them being compared to Apple, right?
Who?
I mean, this idea that there's not going to be any more new console
Well,
generations.
The
It's
Jonathan
just
thing.
the Jonathan thing. Yeah. Where it's just
You
continually upgrading the same thing.
Yeah.
And then they'll stop supporting older
I
stuff,
see. Yeah.
like Apple. Like
Yeah.
Apple
Mm.
will just release updates that just brick your old shit,
Yeah.
which is not good.
no.
but they also do just release stuff that are like, yeah, we're no longer supporting these older ones. So I think that they'll.
And it's not really even that different from if a new console generation comes out. They don't keep releasing Xbox games.
Yeah.
Like that or Xbox 360.
Yeah.
You know, at some point they just say that product is no longer
then if it's
supported.
If it's the same sort of like, if it's the same hardware, just sort of, or the same like architecture or whatever, that's just upgraded, hardware. So it's like just beastier stuff every time.
Yeah.
When you get to a point where like whatever games don't run, you can just have them on a digital library.
Yeah, like
so
the
you have
virtual
a back,
console.
Yeah, you have a back catalog of all these older games, but they're all digital.
Yeah, but how do I sell that person that same game that they've already brought in previous?
Yeah,
You've got to remember this is half of Nintendo's revenue.
Remasters.
Yeah.
How is Saveun meant to keep buying GTA 5?
What a quality game.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Delve a little bit. Unless, did you have more?
No, I was just going to say, I'm buying a new console just for Red Dead.
Oh my god. Wait, what console?
I don't have a Pro.
Oh man. Okay.
So I'm gonna get on that.
How many times are you going to buy Red Dead, do you think?
It depends how many times they launch it, bro. Dude, did you know that game is constantly in the top 10 seller? Like
Red
now?
Dead?
No,
GTA?
GTA 5.
Yeah.
Isn't it? No?
Still up there. Yeah. That's how good it was.
It was a good game.
It is a good game.
Yeah.
So is Zelda that you won't play.
Mm.
You should play it. We even have an email.
I
here.
think I will at some point.
This is what?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Do you want to borrow my?
No.
for a bit? Oh, well, then what's the?
At some point, not right now.
We have an email from someone. It's not even. I don't have a name on here, but the final line is cheers. Also, Saveun should play Zelda, or Saveun should check out Zelda.
Check out Zelda.
Yeah.
Check out see some screenshots.
Just check it out.
Yeah,
check.
that's what they mean. Just check it out.
I've checked it.
Like go to a library and check it out.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about Delve though. You guys got stuff to talk about on Delve?
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, because
We worked on it.
Yeah, I know. Blake certainly did some tile set stuff. Saveun, did you do stuff for Delve?
Yeah.
What'd you do?
I was thinking about this. I checked in and oversaw some assets, but the thing is, other people should be taking more ownership over it, and I shouldn't. I was kind of just helping concept artists kind of get their vision.
You're the guiding hand.
3D-ified, and then adding that and getting the materials correct.
Right.
What asset? What stuff did you oversee?
The tractor.
Oh yeah.
Do we call it the tractor?
No, it's called the crawler.
The crawler. But it's got wheels.
I believe its in-game asset is called Delve Tractor.
Yeah, and I gave it that name.
Well, I gave it the name Crawler, and then at some point it got changed to Lightbug, and then at some point it got changed to Rattler, and then at some point it got changed back to Crawler.
I like Rattler.
Was it called Lightbug when it was that spider, that mechanical spider?
I don't think so.
Because early on, that's what we were using before we had the tractor. We were using a mechanical spider.
When it was a mechanical spider, I called it Crawler, but even before that, it was called Mecha something.
Mechazoid.
Mecha Spider or something.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. It's funny the name.
Why did it change so
full
much?
circle? Just people's opinions internally.
But that's a lot of work.
What, renaming something?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
No, with all that metadata and stuff.
That's me doing a find and replace.
Yeah, isn't? Oh, okay. I was gonna say, don't you have to go through lines and lines of find and replace? Okay.
Yeah, because with that, it's checked in like that. You better not change any of the names.
And that's funny because I misspelt Delve on a few tile sets, and nobody said
is it
anything.
Devil or something?
No, it was it was too many E's.
Delve.
Yeah, it was like that.
Delvey.
It was a couple of tile sets were like that, and I didn't realize until way later. And none of the level designers who used those tiles noticed either.
Huh.
So there's a tile set that's just, I think it's some of the Abyss ones.
Okay.
Yeah,
they have the wrong name.
Wrong name.
Or
Yeah.
there's a typo in them. Yeah, that kind of stuff can come back to bite you. But at least for us, that we really need to be careful with typos that are front facing. So.
Right. Yeah.
So, you didn't have you were just there to like guide the concept art into its final in-game product, huh, Saveun?
There's various like bug fixes and things that I was involved with,
Mm.
that kind of thing.
Polish
Nothing crazy.
up final assets and stuff.
There is, yeah, there's always that going on. And there was a lot of like background art material stuff happening also, which was very hands-on and
Background
exciting.
Yeah, we had new like shader stuff that came in halfway through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's shit, it's really cool. And Delve like debuted it
Mm.
Oh, right.
along with a whole bunch of other stuff.
The global illumination and
Yep, but also
point
material stuff
light
also.
shadows and metal. I've seen some metal upgrade.
I think we have had PBR for a while,
Yeah, but it's
right? Like 3.3.
Yeah, I think 3.3.
Yeah,
But it's just
but
we've
3.4
got-
was like crazy on like internal tools wise.
yeah. It's really it's so much more straightforward than it used to be now. Like
it's really cool. I'm
setting
excited.
setting up materials,
And it's still freaking like I'll go away and work on a thing, and then it's like, all right, let me convert these old garbage assets to use this new system that is like performance wise much better. It's
Mm.
just better overall.
Just looks better and performs better.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Mm.
So I'll do this change, and then a freaking bombshell came in last week about how to do textures a different way, which I didn't even consider. And now I'm having to rework more textures, and
Oh,
I'm like,
man.
this is really exciting.
Well, you like even just I think it was just yesterday you sent a message on Thing being like, "Here's how to set up
Yeah, we're doing this
stuff
this
in
way.
Maya," and it was like, "Oh, we're only down to like one texture map now instead
Yeah.
of like we used to be 3."
Blake, you can't talk about
Yeah.
this kind of shit, man.
Oh,
Come on.
shit.
Can he not?
I'm
Well-
giving off secrets.
All right, all right.
I mean, we've
these are
still
like,
got like texture maps. It's just the way it's set up is.
We used to. So based on what I know, it used to be color, specular, and normal.
those were like the basic
Yeah,
maps.
and they would all basically be layered onto each other to give them a 3D appearance.
This is how textures work, yeah.
Yeah. It's not always how it used to work. It used to
Textures?
just be a flat thing. Like what? We're back to one texture, huh? Sounds like a regression.
No, that's how textures work. You throw images at it.
Mm.
you just hurl them at them.
Yeah.
That's wow.
Man,
It's amazing games look as good as they do.
There was a conversation I had yesterday. We had a new a really like I consider this guy like a veteran artist, like joined the team. New artist, character artist.
Oh yeah.
And he was talking about there's a UV coordinate. You know this. It refers to like the X and Y of a image.
hmm
And then he started talking about W on the texture map, and I was like, what
Wait,
the hell's
W?
W? Yeah. And I was like, what's going on? Like, how do I use W? And he was just like,
you don't know about W?
Yeah.
Did he blow your mind?
Well, W, I've seen W, but I wouldn't even know how to use it.
I don't know. Explain to me what W is.
It's Z basically in the UV space.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool.
But I don't,
Like depth.
but it's not like apparent if you use Maya.
Yeah.
W's not just like, yeah, you turn on W or anything. Like, I wouldn't even know where to look for it.
How does it even?
I don't know.
I don't even.
I don't know. If you know Maya, tell me where W is.
If you email frenzyquestions@gmail.com with the subject W.
Yeah, question mark?
Yeah.
Okay, W question mark.
Yeah, because
Or you can also tweet W question mark, hashtag W question mark to @FrenzyCast.
Well, what was he saying about W?
he was talking about like a Guerrilla Games workflow where they would stack textures using W coordinates.
Okay.
So, and it goes down to like optimizing and all this kind of stuff. But they use W to offset a thing,
Mm.
which is very clever. Because of what we were talking about,
Hmm.
like just
The thing,
optimizing textures
the
and
thing
stuff.
you can't talk about though.
The W,
No, the single texture thing.
Hmm.
the single texture thing is cool. And I could describe it if you're interested.
I am interested, but how much?
I mean, it's not a single texture. It's just like this is just the new setup in Maya. We're still adding stuff. Like
Right.
there's still multiple textures. It's not. It's just that's how it's set up in Maya because that's all
That's all you need.
we need for Maya.
That's
Oh.
cool.
Shit, Blake, I'm gonna blow your mind.
Oh shit!
Single texture. Yeah.
What really?
Yeah.
Okay, this is,
Alright, we'll
okay,
talk
this
about
is-
this after the
I didn't know
podcast.
about this. This is
Alright.
new to me.
All right.
I thought we were.
Blake, tell me about what you did. Because you were working on tile sets.
Yeah. I made some tile sets. I made fungal caves. That
Yeah.
was cool. Sav,
That looks really awesome. by the way.
Sav saw me placing a bunch of mushrooms
No,
and then comes along and says, "Hey, have you seen this tool?
Yep.
That will make it so much easier." But I was like 3/4 of the way through already. So it's like,
What was
oh,
the
shit.
tool?
There's a tool in Maya that had been there for.
Were you showing me? Is this the thing that randomly creates plants and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. So we've been like behind the ball in a lot of things, and so I'm trying to teach the guys about all this goodness.
Yeah.
That's cool. You're like the in-office tech tutor.
Yeah. I think Eric just realized it like yesterday. He was like, "You're like a tech artist." I was like, "Yeah, totally."
Yeah, it was funny because we were in his office and he was like, "So you'd be like a tech artist?"
Yeah, and I was like, "Hey, I've been doing this fucking
yeah,
yeah." So that was pretty funny.
yeah.
Yeah, dude, the vegetation stuff. We're gonna be doing that, and I showed Blake.
I'll try and describe it. It's basically like I think you set up like certain constraints, and you put like I guess specific models or specific parts of a model in there or something, and then it will generate to some within boundaries these random like plant doodads, like leaves of different sizes in different locations, and I guess you can just generate tons and tons of them and just take the best ones and slightly tweak them.
Infinite variations, basically.
Yeah, that's really neat.
It's just fantastic.
It's a freaking game changer.
Yeah.
Well, like art wise, especially with like foliage just being a pain in the ass to deal with, because you don't want to just go around and duplicate leaves and branches or whatever.
Because those mushrooms, I had clumps of them that were like reasonably, dispersed, and just duplicating them, chucking them in the scenes, moving them around and stuff like that. That's just how we've done things for a long time.
Yeah.
With like many different assets, like, just like putting stuff on shelves. I'd have like a bunch of different like layouts and then just duplicate and shove them on.
Yeah. But this is now you'll be saying books of different sizes and colors, and here we go.
Yep. So I did the fungal caves. I did. What else did I do?
You did the stone, like the we call them internally. We call them the protocol.
Oh yeah, I made it. So
the ancient society.
Yeah, so that was like this was from you talking about like this super old civilization that's basically been buried over time.
I'll give a little bit of background. There was one of the things we wanted to do for Delve was establish the society that came before the Vol. And all we had currently in game was some items called the on items, which were like big stone-looking items. They were supporter items, and those mentioned how they were old as the Vol, if not older. And that's all that we had. And so I decided that's like a cool direction to like at least start with. And so my pitch had basically been, because we didn't have a lot of time, and I'm always thinking about saving resources where I can. I said, let's just use the like Ivory Temple tile set.
Yep.
Which is the Solaris Temple basically, and make it look like fine cut stone. And then you guys
and that's that's what happened at first. So one of the other environment artists, Val, he made that. He retextured it to be this like stone stuff. But we had a problem level design wise where we had these different biomes, and they had two tiles between them. And we needed
to blend them together.
And we needed to figure out how to blend them together.
Yeah.
And the way I was like, why don't I just like make some proto-Val ruins that just cover the blend and try to just hide it.
And they look fantastic.
Yeah, so I just made those, and they were just these like basically just a one tile thing that is like split across like two tiles.
Yeah.
And so we had that, and I tried to match it to like what Val had already done in that tile set. And I was like that's fine. If I get some time, I might like try to incorporate more of what I'd done into Val's thing. Into that Ivory Temple.
Yeah.
But I ended up not having any time to do that. But our level designer, Dan, he went and just like redid that. Well, not redid, but like chucked in all this like proto-Val stuff all over the place. Yeah, and he did a pretty good job of that. And he made a whole bunch of like, he made a whole bunch of doodads out of it. And I made some like which are just decorations. I made a few decorations out of it as well, but like that kind of wasn't the plan. Like we were just gonna retexture it and then kind of leave it, but we running through it, I think without that extra decoration layer, like it was kind of obvious that it was a reskin of a previous like tile set. Yeah. So it kind of needed it to make it actually look different, and I think it does look quite different now.
It does. The little stone pillar things look kind of like the Tesseract.
Yeah.
Which I think is cool.
And I tried to base it off because it's like this super old unknown civilization, but they were masters of stonework, right?
Yes.
So there's real life ruins that have been on Ancient Aliens, and they're these big like H block stones that no one's exactly sure how they made them. Like the only way you can make them, they figure the only way they can make them these days is using like modern machinery.
Sure.
And they're just like, it looks like they're machine edged, like they're so fine work. So I was like, I'm going to take this kind of thing and make something out like that's mysterious and kind of almost out of place.
Yeah. I think it looks great. You did a good job. Yeah. So that was one of the fun things I got to do for this expansion was like basically invent the pre-vol race. The other thing I got to do was I wrote Nico's script, and that was fun. And it's been interesting seeing people's reactions to him because one of the complaints we had about Alva, who was the previous NPC, was that she said the same thing over and over again.
Yep.
And that's always going to be a problem because, like, there's only so many lines you can ever write and an infinite number of gameplay hours possible. So for this character, I wanted to slowly meter out different lines, and I also wanted to make him... We have like a overarching theme in Path of Exile often of characters losing their minds. And I wanted this character to lose his mind based on the amount of sulfite you've collected.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted it to basically imply... I was basing it on mercury poisoning.
Yeah.
Like, and radiation poisoning, where you spend enough time around these substances and you are harmed.
Yeah. That's where the saying, like, mad as a hatter comes from, right? Because there's, like, something about...
Mercury was used in creation of the lining of these hats.
Yeah.
And one of the... I also based it on lead poisoning, which is...
right.
There are certain key features of, like, these poisonings. You become very antisocial, you become aggressive, and sometimes you hallucinate, especially auditory hallucinations. And so I wrote the script where Nico, over time, becomes a little angrier and delusional, and he sees and hears things that aren't necessarily there, or maybe they are.
Yeah.
And I wanted to have that little edge of like, is he crazy, or is there something to it?
Or are you unearthing stuff as you go deeper, like
exactly
something affecting him?
So watching players slowly discover that his dialogue changes was
cool.
Was neat. What people haven't noticed, and if you're listening now, you can go ahead and check this. Every bit of dialogue changes. So even if you talk to him, he's got these gossip options. He'll talk about like Oriath, and he'll talk about like sulfite, and he'll talk about all this other stuff. Every time, like his digging lines change, all of those other options change as well.
Whoa!
And it'll be the same topics, but he'll say different things about them. So you should go if you're playing Delve, go check that out, because I think first of all I did a bunch of writing, and I want people to actually hear it. And second of all, I just think it's neat.
You want some appreciation. Do you ever? I do this, but do you ever look on our Reddit?
And try and find
Reddit to
feedback?
Find stuff about you
Constantly.
Oh no, about stuff you've worked on.
Yes,
I mean,
constantly. Yeah.
Like I was definitely like searching for fungal caves or like proto just to see if people are like. I just want to see if people are like, caves. Whoa, man, these caves, man.
Did you find anything?
No. I did the same thing for when we did War for the Atlas. There's the Haunted Mansion, and I was searching for haunted paintings. Because I did the paintings that change.
So cool.
And there were some people that noticed it. So there was a couple of people that even like noticed that there was a vague story in the paintings as well that I'd put in there. Yeah.
Some good world building, Blake.
Thanks.
Some environmental storytelling is what we call it.
Yeah.
Which is really hard in a game with random level.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it was funny that we've got a new junior environment artist, and
Mhm.
he was asking about environmental storytelling, and I was
Yep.
like, man, if it's definitely something we want to get in there, and if you can get it in there in places, that's great.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
you don't want the same interesting storytelling in a tile side by side all down the
Right.
wall, you know.
Yeah, we've got a few good cases of that though. Chamber of Innocence, the stained glasses in there.
Oh yeah,
Those
yeah,
I think do a
that's
really good job.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Marcius the Defaced is a boss in markets, in the marketplace.
Oh,
in
yeah.
Act 3. He's one of my favorite bits of environmental storytelling because he is a statue. And if you're careful and read through the lore and are all caught up on the lore, you know that Marcius is Marcius Lioneye of Lioneye's Watch, who was like a hero of the Eternal Empire and was killed by Kaum. And so Marcius the Defaced is his statue that was defaced after his defeat.
Hmm.
And I think that's fascinating. Like,
My little nugget that I added many years ago was I was working on like just torture victim type
Uh-huh.
looking people.
Yeah.
And there was a couple that I put together where one's reaching out for the other.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
This-
something.
There's some good creepy storytelling in that
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
It's but you are right. It is hard to make it work in a game where the environments are
Mm.
random because they can be encountered in different orders, and you can't guarantee that
Mm.
it's going to look good in a specific location. Yeah. It's also like once you've seen it 14 times, it loses some of the impact. So
You can really get carried away making this
Mm.
kind of stuff with art also. I got really carried away trying to make like these impaled guys look a certain way. Because what would happen was as soon as you walked in and a tile was drawn, it would play an animation if you said it. And
Mm,
I had these people sliding down.
Oh, right.
And
mm.
yeah, to get that neck stretch to
Ugh.
you can get carried away. You can lose some time doing that. Very fun.
I really like Dominus's office.
Yep.
Like,
Good one.
and I like that was something that we came up with just over lunch one day. We were being like, wouldn't it be weird if he just had an office?
It makes sense.
Does he have
Yeah.
a nameplate?
No, but he has a giant
painting
portrait
of
of
himself.
himself
Yeah.
above his office because we were like, yeah, that dude's such an egomaniac. He definitely would have had a giant like portrait of himself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that people have noticed that when you go back there in Act 10, because he's got one of those. There's one of those gauntlets.
Yeah.
On the desk, that's missing in Act
Mm.
10. And
That's pretty cool.
yeah, and people are like, "Whoa, who
Where
took
did it
this?
go?
Where's this going? Is this foreshadowing something? I don't know."
Who knows? Anyway, so yeah, Delve was cool. People are enjoying it. Go click on some of Nico's dialogue options, please.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much all we've got time for. Unfortunately, I'll read out one email. This will be. I'm gonna read this one out because it's the one that mentions you, Saveun.
Someone's asked for a photo of us as well,
Shit. What?
like a real photo.
This is photos of me because of
Yeah,
you taking
yeah.
photos of me taking photos of
Oh
food.
yeah, that's right.
Mhm. And there's photos of Blake because there was that photo of mini Blakes.
Yeah, that's where it came from.
Yeah,
The
I'll-
guy,
I'll
yeah,
read
I
that
posted
one
that,
out.
and the
And
guy's
hey,
like,
you can see me on Twitch.
that's
Know what I mean?
yeah.
we're all
We're all on
there.
that.
so. Here's that email. Which one is the real Blake? Ooh,
Oh man, that alarm again.
it's because of the email. They're like,
Yeah.
it's email time.
This was the last time we started reading emails. We got an alarm.
Oh yeah. They know that we're about to read emails.
Yeah,
There we go. So that's our email section intro.
that's the jingle for the email.
If you've got a better jingle, please send it to us. You can email us.
I hope that picked up on the mic. Otherwise, it'll just sound like we're like talking about nothing.
So here's the email. Which one is the real Blake? Can you take a pic of you three and put it in the info page on the Facebook in the info on the Facebook page? I'm curious if you look like I imagine you do after listening to those voices for all those hours. And then in brackets, I am too lazy to Google around.
Ooh.
I look like a nerd. Just picture a nerd.
Mm-hmm.
I sound like a nerd too, so I do look like what I sound like. It's pretty unfortunate, honestly.
It is weird. Like I remember listening to podcasts
I'm trying to put faces to
and
them.
trying to put faces. Like I remember doing that for the Giant Bomb.
Yeah, and then you see Brad, and you're like, "What?"
Yeah, yeah. And just-
Yeah, I was kind of surprised when I saw Brett.
So maybe we'll put a photo on there.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Thanks for emailing us. If you also want to see a photo of us, you should leave a comment on our WordPress site, frontseatgamer.wordpress.com, or our Facebook page, facebook.com/frontseatcast. We've got a YouTube page, youtube.com/frontseatcast. Twitch.tv/frontseatcast is where Saveun sometimes streams.
Mm-hmm.
Please rate us on iTunes and tell your friends about us. We've got we've had some ratings. It feels good. Feels good, man. Anything else to add, guys?
I will say I try to get on Twitch and stream every second week when we're not recording. Try to.
Yeah.
That's not a guarantee or anything, but I try to get in there in Saturday morning, New Zealand time.
Cool.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out for that.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be back in a couple weeks with a special guest. We said we might have a special guest this time. It's next time. So look forward to that. Should we say who it is?
Yeah.
It's me. No, it's community manager extraordinaire, community director. I don't know. It's Bex. If you play Path of Exile and are active on our Reddit or forums, you know who Bex is. And she'll be on. So look forward to that. And we'll be back in a couple weeks. See you then. Bye.
Chuck him on the mic.
So super.
Yeah.
We got to call it live caller. Put him on speaker.
Yep. And you're alive?
When you start off, you play as a Templar, and then you can get the Hierophant Ascendancy later. Yeah. Don't be afraid to. There's a really good Wikipedia for our game. If you look up Path of Exile wiki on Google, you'll see. You can search pretty much anything, and you'll find tons of information.
Tell about the tutorial.
Yeah, what about the tutorial that you
tutorial
wrote?
you made.
And also Blake and Saveun say hi.
Tell him he's on the podcast right now.
Blake and Saveun say hi. Okay. Well, I mean, we've had a bunch of comments, but I will let them know. Okay, they know who you are. Right? You know you've met them in person, right?
What?
You've met Blake and Saveun. Yes. All right. All right. I'm gonna go to the podcast now. Bye. I love you. Have fun playing. You can call me tomorrow. All right. Bye.
We were just saying how cool he was, and then it sounds like he forgot who we are.
No, he's that cool.
He said, "Tell them I'm the guy who commented on the podcast." I'm like, what the fuck?
Fucking cool, dude.
Oh dear.
He's way too cool, man.